take projection.
Welcome everybody to Taking on Sports. I am TD. That is Greg. Greg, man. Free Aden. Just free Aden. This is bullshit.
Right. Definitely free Aden. Just terrible timing all around. I guess, in a certain sense, he's got to be smarter just because where he's at. We know how things are with stuff like that in Alabama and who he is, high profile. So he's a target when you're anything like that. It's always somebody to tell on you, obviously. Man, you just hate it, man. And then we've been hyped. And we've been on his. We've been a fan definitely all the whole time he's been there. But this whole season, man, we've been high on him all season. Man, he seemed to be the guy that was kind of like put stuff together, kind of the leader in a sense. And now probably don't have him for the tournament.
No, yeah, he has officially been taken off campus. And so he will not be. Barring some miracle, I don't know, throwing out the result or throwing out the conviction or whatever. Yes, it doesn't look like Aden Holloway will be playing this year. Who knows about his future?
Does that end his time in Tuscaloosa altogether now?
Yeah, I think they need to wait. I guess they'll wait for the courts to that stuff to play out there and see what happens. But of course, we're talking about Aden Holloway, arrested on marijuana possession charges, about a little over a pound, so they say, and something about not applying a tax stamp to something, and
basically saying, hey, he's not paying taxes on making money on drugs. Well, duh.
It's a whole situation, of course. It's the West Alabama Narcotics Task Force, who they made a big sting when we were in college. They've made one about 10 or 11 years ago, and it is not too far-fetched. It's not saying anything crazy to say that law enforcement in Alabama has a shady record, particularly that around Tuscaloosa. But you can sure there's a big-time documentary that I'm sure won some Oscars or something, or Emmys, or whatever, on HBO about the prison system there. There was a big story last year about a speed trap town doing a lot of illegal, shady shit. For
all the supposed wholesomeness in
in air quotes
of certain demographic, certain groups, definitely the double standard is thick. In a lot of situations, and in some sense, yes, he did. You would hope that when you're almost this deep into the season and the NCAA tournament and everything that he has in front of him, that he'd be far away from this, at least for this time of the year. And unfortunately, it's consequences when things like that happen. But in a general sense, and this is for anybody, I don't care who you are. If people say, "Oh, you're just a Bama fan," I don't care if who you played for. If you don't play sports, if it's legal in certain spots of the U.S. and not legal in other parts, obviously it's something weird.
And that is what I was about to say. For anybody coming out and being like, well, he should obey the law. And like, okay, you got to point to a degree. Like we said, Aden Holloway is not, he's not at fault in this. Yeah, he's not innocent in this. But like you said, you read my mind. I was going to bring up the same point. If Aden Holloway played for Colorado or Washington, Illinois, UCLA, this would be a non-story. And, at worst, and some, honestly, some states, they have a limit to what you can have. At worst, you might get a little fine or something. But and that hypocrisy, that bullshit. It's the year 2026. We have all the we're talking about weed. We have all the scientific studies in the world to show that this is not any more dangerous than In fact,
I
it's
mean,
less
hell,
dangerous than smoking a cigarette than drinking every night.
right.
Like it's not without its hazards, but
Honestly, I mean, you rarely hear about people beating up people, getting angry,
no, yeah,
they're killing people in car wrecks. I mean, honestly, the biggest thing in college towns is what? Alcohol. Way more dangerous than marijuana if we're going to just talk about the truth of the matter. I
no,
mean,
yeah, for sure. And we could have a whole separate episode
you
on,
could have a whole, you could have, and not even sports related necessarily. I mean, this
exactly, yeah,
is it's sports related because who it's affecting. But and then the whole thing too is, let's be honest as well. If you have a pound of marijuana today, he's had a pound of marijuana this whole season. I mean, it's just, I mean, this in the, so obviously it hadn't been a problem until right now, which tells me that A, you pissed off the wrong person, or if someone doesn't like him, or someone's like, well, this is the perfect time to get at Alabama. And so they came at it, and, unfortunately, we're going to pay, he's going to pay the consequences ultimately, because, I mean, it's his name. Um, And then, honestly, it's going to hurt the team because I mean he's a big part of what we do. Now, the one thing though, just as Alabama basketball related, if there's a spot that we're deep at, it's the one spot that we can take a hit is at the guard spot.
yeah, for
um,
sure. Like you don't want to
so
lose
I
your
mean,
second lead and score and a guy
right?
like
I
Aden
mean,
Holloway, but yeah,
exactly.
you're
But there's
right.
people that can step in if
Yeah,
it's a loss. It's gonna hurt. But let's say that it's not the other Aiden, which would be devastating. If
yeah,
we're
yeah, yeah.
well, we might as well
Whew.
not go to the NCAA tournament because we're
I'm
in
about to.
trouble.
Ooh, yeah. We would be hitting them courts trying to get Chuck back, trying to get Chuck Davis back, trying to get Jamario Davis, anybody. We'd call up what's his face on that does ESPN games now, Rich Hendricks.
Richard
Try to get
Hendricks,
him. Yeah, we'd be
he didn't stay out
everybody.
4 years. He still has some time.
All right, just trying anybody with some eligibility,
Um,
but no, yeah. We talked about you talked about the timing there, and all that, and I mentioned the West Alabama Narcotics Task Force earlier, and they, like I said, their history, some shadiness, when we were in school, there's a big sting, and I remember it was either like the rumor or read it in the newspaper, can't remember, but of course, like they're big bus, and they brag about taking like a gram off of college kids and stuff, and a couple pills. And again, while we said, look, it's illegal, we understand that. We just think that's bullshit. But this task force, their MO is doing stuff like that. And I remember for that one, they claimed that somebody had like a meth lab in the dorm. You cannot. No, I'm sorry, but impossible to get a meth lab in a dorm room. Like,
unless
ridiculous.
everybody's in on it.
I'm about to say ridiculous concept, but their MO is they hit these kids again. They go after college kids. It's not their first time going after college kids. They make it a point.
'Cause they know it's
And
easy money.
yeah, they get these kids on these small ass possession charges. When I say a gram or two, like I'm legit. Like they're nothing
Yeah.
possession charges, and they put pressure on them, and they threaten them, and they get them to roll and flip on the guys that they bought it from and all that, and it goes on and up, and they threaten to ruin these kids' lives over, like we said, weed. And granted, yeah, a pound is a lot, but who knows? I mean, probably, yeah, selling a little bit to a friend or whatever, but like, let's also not
It's
pretend that he
it's
was
not
caught with a
cocaine.
van full of
It's
weed. Yeah,
not
he didn't.
crack rocks. It's not,
Yeah.
like he's not El Chapo with Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, he's not. What was your boy for the Cowboy? Nate Newton rolling with a cargo van full of
Yeah,
bricks, man.
yeah. It's Aden Holloway.
Yeah.
He's uh, yeah, it's
He's a,
not the
he's a
smartest.
college kid. Yeah, he's probably going to sell a little bit to his friends, and he's going to smoke a lot of it.
Yeah, and
And
it's not the smartest thing, but man, come on.
yeah, it's just like we said. The biggest point is you brought it up first. If he was playing for and pick a state, like you said, UCLA, USC, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, if he was playing for St.
Illinois.
John's, yeah, if he was playing for Illinois, St. John's, like up in New York, like,
And then if
uh,
anything,
yeah.
and then if anything, let's talk about this, and then we'll get on to sports specifically. But marijuana, the states that are doing well right now have legalized marijuana. And what are they doing? They tax the marijuana. And what do the marijuana taxes go to? Fixing up the roads, fixing up things, making it so you're not paying as high in taxes. It does a lot to the revenue of the state. Regardless of what you think about marijuana itself, it's going to benefit you in some way.
Hmm.
There's no down thing for the most part to this system.
No, yeah, you and if it's one of these things too, like if you don't like it, if your belief system
You
is
don't
against
have
it or
to,
whatever,
don't go to the
okay,
store.
yeah,
Don't
you don't have to
smoke.
smoke it, like,
You don't
but
have to
don't
smoke. But and
don't take
and
away other
honestly,
people's, yeah.
and honestly, if you think about it, in today's world where you can go to the store in Illinois or a weed shop on this corner, that corner, it's going to be way safer than what you're buying from
Hmm. Hmm.
Jim on the corner. You don't know what he puts in this stuff.
Yeah, or you
You,
go to
and, you,
some,
well,
you
and
go to
you're not going to be able. Should something happen to you or a family member, you
hmm.
can't go back to Jim and be, "I'm suing you."
Yeah, all
That's
right.
not how it works. But
Can't
if
can't
you,
can't file a complaint with a Better
yeah,
Business Bureau.
but now you can go to, a Green's weed store on the corner, and they're supposed to be legit, and they have something happens to you. Well, you gotta, if they're a
Hmm.
legit business, you have a complaint and you can file it, and there's repercussions. So it's a lot safer in the long, in the sense. I mean,
No, yeah, I mean that's just simple logic right there. Yeah, if you can legalize it and then legalize it federally, you can put it under FDA's jurisdiction. You can have
you can do all,
standards for it,
yeah,
practices. You can keep it healthy. We have all
yeah,
these things with vape cartridges and
right.
the history of
It's
that.
a
You can
lot
actually
you can do
regulate
with it,
that. You could keep it
and
safe. Yeah,
yeah,
like.
I mean, so I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a terrible timing.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's weed. It
Yeah,
sucks
yeah.
for him. It sucks for our team. Um, and really, it just sucks for anybody that lives in a state that you of a little weed could do time. The
Yeah, can
fact
ruin your
that
can
the
ruin your
fact that
life. Yeah,
right, the fact that they said you could do up to 10 years in jail for this is wild.
yeah, it's
10 years,
ridiculous. Yeah.
10 years for marijuana.
No, it's a crooked
People
ass system.
kill.
Yeah,
People killing it less.
yeah, yeah.
Come on.
People have driven drunk and killed somebody, and yeah, got
And
off for
do
less than
community
this. Yeah,
service. Maybe
yeah,
60 days in jail. Like,
yeah.
oh
That's
my goodness.
ridiculous.
But
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. And
Well, yeah, and I spoke when we started. I spoke to the very shady nature and history of law enforcement and politics in Alabama, and that's
yes,
part of it. With the private prisons system
yeah,
here, it's all
horrible.
about getting
It's
inmates in
horrendous.
there to and it's ridiculous and it's bullshit and
Like
it's
the fact that, they will kill, like, it's known. Prison guards will kill people,
mhm.
and the family finds out weeks later. And then
Mhm.
they present it as, oh, they got into a fight. No,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
Like, it's a
So
it's a shady, terrible system. And for all the, oh, we're good people, and there's a plenty of good people that Alabama and everywhere, and it had nothing to do per se about the states, but it's a certain certain states the way they vote, and
mhm.
and then the way that they present them as, oh, we're good people, but then have certain things on the books. It's like, man,
Mhm.
whew, it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, hypocrisy runs wild. But that's a whole, not just
That's a
another episode. That's a whole
that's a
different
that's a whole.
podcast.
You could go
Yeah.
on a whole decade of. Like we'd be
Yeah.
here forever if we want to do that, and then it'd be 1,000 people that could get and talk about it. But
I'm about to say, yeah, if you want to do that podcast, alabamatake at gmail.com, or
yeah,
the alabamatake at
but I
gmail.com.
would be careful
Yeah.
about doing
Yeah.
and who you interview
Yeah.
because people will take you out.
I'm
It's
about
not
to
the,
say,
it's
yeah.
not, may not be the safest podcast to do if you're in Alabama, but
I'm about to say, depends on what names you're talking about there.
depends what
But
you.
yeah, let's move on to the sports part of it. You know, I came in prepared to talk about Alabama dropping to a 4 seed. They'll play Hofstra. Came in prepared to talk about disappointing loss in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, you got a little more disappointing of a loss.
Yeah, Ole
Aden
Miss. Of course, Ole
Holloway
Miss went on a little run.
did.
Nearly got Arkansas in the semifinal too. Nearly
Yeah,
made it to the
made them
final, but that was a completely winnable game for Alabama after a terrible
was.
first half.
It was.
Played better in the second half, had their chances to take the lead, and just couldn't get over the hump. Just
That one dude kept every time we would cut it to 4 and 6. That what was the man? I can't think of his name right now. For Ole Miss, he would hit a big shot, and he had the
yeah,
game. He had the tournament of his life.
they
Um,
were doing things. It was almost like the Georgia game, you know, the week
yeah,
before, where you know, it was things like, oh, they realize the shot clock's about to run out, and they just chuck up a 3, and it's like
yeah,
nothing but net.
whoosh.
It's just
Nothing. Of course it
ridiculous.
was.
Yeah.
I think that at times Alabama's had some of the worst luck when it comes to facing teams that get randomly just super hot.
Yeah. Yeah. On the right night or on the weekend. Yeah.
It always seems like we run into that. And we ran
But
into it twice in about a week period.
but
And but
that
yeah,
that
but that's what March is, man. At times, man,
mhm,
you just run into something that just doesn't make sense. I mean, and we know how bad Ole Miss has been throughout most of the season.
mhm.
Like they were terrible, and
Oh
that's
yeah. And you kind of called it. You messaged me, I guess was it Thursday or maybe even Friday afternoon, and said, "Man, like, didn't expect to be playing Ole Miss." And I was like, "Yeah, like I'm not sure if I should be excited,
yeah. I don't.
you know, that we're getting you know, a bad team that only won 4 SEC games all year, or if, you know, should be worried because they're on the heater."
Yeah,
And you were like,
I
"Man,
mean,
it's March. I'm nervous."
yeah.
And yeah, and then granted, like we said, credit to Ole Miss for doing their thing, but this was a completely winnable game for Alabama. A terrible
I
performance.
was kind of disappointed that we came out and acted like you would have thought that for 2 days in a row we would have been more up to start the game. I felt like our energy level was low coming
Yeah,
into
and
the
that they were coming off back-to-back games, so we could have, if we had really ran them, we could have wore them out. And then you saw it in the end; they were getting a little tired, and we just
well,
did
they
not
were
take
grabbing
advantage.
sports and stuff, but
Yeah.
and really though, I mean, but and I wish he had done it a little bit more than what he did. But at certain points in our comeback, because LeBaron Philon took over for a little
Mm-hmm.
portions of that second half, where he was either A, hitting the shot, or B he was giving basically every possession had to go through his hand, that went through his hands, ended up going pretty well. So
Yeah, save for
sometimes
that
it can be
last
a
one,
little.
you know. Yeah.
It was a beautiful pass, though.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was just, but I'm with the crowd that Nate Oates should have called a timeout on that last
Yeah,
possession because solely for the fact that Ole Miss already had their defense set. You know,
right,
it wasn't like they didn't have guys up to rebound. It wasn't like they had guys up to rebound and
right.
LeBaron got out and had a
And then when it was
one-on-one or,
running,
you know,
yeah,
yeah, it was 1-on-4 and then, you know, Aden came in late and then
that was a crazy pass though out of traffic though.
no, yeah, it was a good little pass. Aden couldn't get the shot off though, and
Yeah,
it's just terrible to not even get a shot off, you know. And
because I
like
mean,
I
as
said,
bad as that game was for the most part, especially that first half, to still be in that situation in the end, I mean, that was everything we could have hoped for, considering. I mean, you had the chance to tie the game up. You had 9 seconds. We have shooters. Like, yeah, definitely probably should have called the timeout.
yeah,
But
definitely should
hey,
have called
it is
timeout.
what
Got
it
it. Yeah, I
is.
know we're not the best. You know, we're not known for our half court sets, but
No.
you got to call a timeout there because they already had their defense set. You got to call a timeout and just, even if it's just, hey man, get the ball into LeBaron and clear out.
Yeah.
At least give them that chance to get
Right.
yourself set up too. So disappointing in.
Yeah.
Cost ourselves a 3 seed. After the Auburn win, heading to Nashville, we were
On the
sitting there
three
on
line.
the
Could have
yeah
made
on the
up to the two line if we made it to Sunday, maybe. But
yeah outside shot at a 2, but not to be. Dropped to the 4. Like I said, we'll play Hofstra on Friday.
Friday afternoon, I believe.
Yeah, don't know much about them. I did read a little quick bit today. They're a slow team, one of the slower paced teams in the country.
I know Speedy Claxton's their coach.
Yeah, no speed. Yeah, exactly. There's a name from the
I mean,
past.
I did watch the end. I mean, you get the championship week and you start watching teams you haven't watched all year.
Mm.
So I can't say I watched about 10 minutes of their championship game. I was like, cool, Speedy's their coach. That's cool. He went there. This is their first tournament since the former Villanova coach Jay Wright was the coach for Speedy Claxton
Mm.
there. So I mean, and then we got Aaron Estrada from Hofstra. I know that.
That's right. Yeah, I was trying to think. I was trying to think about that today. I was like, didn't we get someone from Hofstra in the
And he
last few
had a
years?
he had a good little run in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, he was a solid contributor. Yeah. But I do know, and what I read too, kind of said that they like to force you to take long twos. And we're shooters, so we can if we're hot, that shouldn't be a problem. Aiden Terrell's going to be the best big man on the floor.
Yeah,
So I think it'll be, it's a matchup we should, even, without Aden Holloway, it's a matchup we should really dominate.
yeah,
If we move on to that, we'd get the winner of Texas Tech, Akron, Texas Tech, the 5 seed. Normally, I wouldn't be too thrilled about that matchup with Texas Tech. But they're going to be without 3 of their best players, their top players. That could really swing things our favor. If we get to the second weekend, we'll probably be awaiting by
Michigan.
number 1 Michigan. Their
And
8-9 matchup is Georgia and St. Louis, and I just Michigan's too good, and that is where
I think
uh,
I
yeah.
think even if we're healthy, I'm thinking that's true. Unless we have an amazing shooting day, even if
Mhm.
Aiden was there, I think that's where our season ends.
Yeah, that's tough with their style of play. Their big man.
They
We've
got
talked about
they
them
got
being the
some
best team in the
threes. They
country.
got what,
Yeah,
a 6'10", a 6'11", and a 7 foot. That's
yeah.
just terrible for us. It's not a good matchup for us. They're super physical.
Yeah, it'll have to take that the BYU performance from last year again, where
Yeah,
we hit some record number of threes and
right.
just create some turnovers on the other end.
Yeah.
Not to say it can't be done, but we've talked about Michigan being one of the best, the best team in the country at points this year. So,
And you see that. I mean,
yeah.
I guess their biggest thing is that they're. I mean, Michigan is down there with backup guard. Noe Torres. Yeah, they had one guard that got hurt, out for the year. But I mean, they're just a really good team. I was shocked to that Purdue actually beat them in the Big Ten championship game. Honestly,
Yeah, it was a big upset in the Big Ten
in a way,
tournament.
and the way Michigan's been playing, and the way Purdue had kind of fallen off there towards the end of
Hmm.
the regular season, I was like, they made a little run to show that they're still a little relevant because they seemed like they were kind of out of things. So
But yeah, I'm with you. We'll see. Of course, that's next time we talk, we'll be through this first weekend, of course. So we'll see if we even going on the second weekend.
yeah,
And like we said before the year, that's where we want to be baseline for this program is second weekend. So
absolutely.
hopefully we
Especially,
yeah.
especially what is this, the sixth straight NCAA tournament, and we've only done that one time prior. In the
Yeah.
'80s, they had around the six. So I mean, we're in, for us. It's a rare. I mean, this is a different level that we've gotten to, and
Yeah, it is. And it's the peak of Alabama basketball,
yeah,
and
And
You
it's
can
not
talk.
just
You
big in
know.
the tournament. I mean, shit, we've
Yeah.
been to Sweet 16s and Elite Eights and Final Fours. Like we're
Hmm.
contending for things, trying to get to things. And like Nato said, man, in an interview last night, was saying, it kind of feels like a disappointing season. Considering the fact, I
Hmm.
mean, you know, that we kind of expect at this, which is different. We expect to, be in the hunt for the SEC regular and go deeper into the SEC tournament. So
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
like the mindset, like where we're heading, and it's just a matter of
No.
living
Yeah.
with expectation. And because we know it becomes harder as you exceed anything you've ever experienced before, then you
Hmm.
expect more and more and more, and so sometimes only so much you can do, but um, but. But overall, can't complain. I mean, we're still a 4 seed. We still have a good opportunity to at least make the Sweet 16. If without Texas Tech is a different team without Toppin, of course.
Hmm.
The dude that got hurt last week sounds like he'll be back for the
Mm.
um, for Texas Tech. I would think, but on the other side, that Akron team, I mean, honestly, they might, Miami, Ohio got all the hype throughout the year because they're going for that thing. But this
Hmm.
Akron team is legit. They've lost like 2 games in like 2 seasons in during the regular season. Like pretty, they're pretty solid team there. So it may not be a guarantee that we're playing Texas Tech, honestly.
No, yeah, a two bid Mac. Of course, they did do the bullshit thing and put Miami, Ohio in the first four.
Well, of course they
Um,
did. Because not only
yeah,
do they do that, but then they make money because it's going to be a bunch of Miami of
yeah,
Ohio fans in Dayton. So
yeah, yeah. Which you brought up a point too. It is absolute bullshit. They put these mid majors in uh, the first four.
and I mean I don't know like how you figure like, and I get like they have it because there's more 16 seeds than spots for 16 seeds, but. And let these guys experience the actual tournament. I get that people say, oh, it is a tournament. And no one really considers it the tournament.
No, yeah, Howard, UMBC, Lehigh, and Prairie View. They all deserve to.
Find some way to put them
Yeah,
somewhere else. Like
yeah, they are.
like
Yeah,
they won their conference,
two. Yeah, two of them can be 15 seeds. That's okay.
yeah, but they won their conference. So they did everything they can to get into the dance. I mean, they can't help that the conference they're part of. They did their end of the bargain. They're not a. They didn't. They're not being picked after the fact. Like let them into the actual tournament. Let them play on
Yeah,
Thursday, Friday.
yeah. Put your last. Put all your last big conference teams in here.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely. You
yeah.
have. And plus, I mean, that'd be good TV anyway. I mean, if you have what you have, uh, Texas, North Carolina State, SMU, um,
Hmm.
all those 11 teams there. Plus, I don't know the other teams that on the last portion of it. But
Hmm.
the one thing I will say that they prove they did a good job of proving this year is, as people were talking about expanding the tournament further, there's no need.
No, there's
There's
not.
nobody on the outside that you can be like, oh, they should have definitely been in the tournament.
Yeah. And we will not be. Look, we know we're Alabama fans, but we will not be accepting arguments for Auburn. I don't care how tough a schedule they played, or
You
what.
lost it. Who
You
cares?
lost 16 games. 16.
I never heard of such a damn situation of what, like, what are we doing?
Well, one of the arguments was that they should be rewarded for that tough schedule, the tough schedule, da, da, da. You know what the reward was? The reward is that people were even talking about you as a bubble team in the first place.
It's a
You
reward
lost
in itself.
16 games. You lost 9 of your last 12. That is not a tournament team.
Right.
Like, you just can't. Like, we talk about this with the college football playoff. Like, results matter. And what happens during the games have to matter. Like,
Yeah.
or else, what are we doing here? If we're talking about tough, then just figure out who's got the toughest schedule before the season
just put 'em in
and
the
put them
tournament.
in the tournament.
Just
Yeah.
put them in the tournament.
Skip the regular season. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I
ridiculous.
mean,
You
yeah,
lost
it's
16 games.
crazy. It shouldn't even
Is-
be in consideration.
No.
It's
Yeah.
like it shouldn't even be a thing.
Okay.
Who
Yeah.
you
Oh,
like
we
to
played
know
this.
schedule.
Yeah, this many quad one teams. Yeah, and you lost all but what 2, 3 of them. Like
You
you lost
you
all.
beat- and I mean,
Yeah, the Florida
yeah,
win looks good now, but at the time, let's remember Florida was not in high
Florida
gear
knew who
yet.
they were, and they play
And that,
right now. Florida would mop, they would mop
yeah,
Auburn off the court right now.
yeah, and
They talking about we beat
look what
Arkansas.
happened after that win. Yeah,
They talking about, oh, we beat Arkansas. Arkansas mop y'all right now. There is A Cup would destroy y'all right now. St.
yeah,
John's, y'all beat St. John's. St. John's
yeah,
would whoop y'all right now. Like, let's be
hmm
realistic. Like,
yeah.
yeah, we beat St. John's too. I don't wouldn't want to see St. John's right now.
No, yeah, that is a that's a team you don't want in your bracket, and they're
All right.
um. But yeah, that was just my big one. Like you
Yeah.
said, as far as bubble, there's no team that sat there and if they had left Miami, Ohio out, that'd have been one thing. It was like,
I
look,
mean,
that's
that
a
would have been
major
the
one.
only thing that would have pissed me off. And they
Yeah.
did everything they could have tried. They tried to.
hmm
They
Yeah,
really did.
I just knew when they got upset by UMass in the first round of that MAC tournament or whatever. I was like, shit, like here we
They,
go. They couldn't
they
even win one
tried it.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, let's go through some of these other. Let's see the rest of our region. We're in the Midwest, of course. On the other side of it, Iowa State's your 2 seed,
Yeah.
Virginia's your 3 seed, Tennessee Vols are 6 seed there. Um, Again, like if look, I'll take it back this. Like we said, we both think our season's ended against Michigan in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
If we somehow get back to the Elite Eight for a third straight year,
We've
which would
done a
be
hell of a
obviously
job.
amazing.
Either A, we've
Yeah,
done a hell of a job, or B, Michigan got to beat somewhere.
yeah, right.
Like St. Louis and Georgia pulled in a shocker.
Yeah,
But
but that's
honestly, talking
there's
about
some.
that game,
Mm,
that Georgia St. Louis game is gonna be fun to watch. That game is gonna be 120 to 118 type ball game. It's
yeah.
gonna be a boatload of points scored,
Um, and
and
speaking,
everybody's favorite.
Tennessee, they could potentially play Miami, Ohio.
Yeah,
That they get the winner of that Miami, Ohio SMU
SMU,
playing game.
which is
Um,
interesting.
it is. I think Virginia and Wright State. Wright State's an interesting 14 seed
Yeah,
to pay attention to. That 7-10 game, Kentucky and Santa Clara. Oh man,
upset.
that's screaming at me.
I
That
think
is
Santa
screaming at me.
Clara. That. As soon as I got announced, I was like, this Broncos team, they could beat um, Kentucky. I mean,
Yeah.
really the only thing going for Kentucky is that they have big guards. Like,
hmm
and the thing with Kentucky is, they're talented,
Yeah,
but
the talent's there, but man,
are they gonna show up? Are they gonna? And that's what the big question is. And honestly, yeah, I mean, you can see Kentucky going far, but I mean, they're one of those teams. They're either gonna make a run or they're done with against Santa Clara. There's really no between for this Kentucky team. I don't think.
yeah, right. I could see them beating Santa Clara, and then I could see them upsetting Iowa State. Iowa
Yeah,
State, although they
good
made
team,
a
but
good team, made a little run. They beat the hell out of Texas Tech in the Big 12 tournament. And But yeah, I can see Kentucky taking them down, and all of a sudden Kentucky's in the Sweet 16 against
yeah,
probably. I don't know. I could see Tennessee beating Virginia too. That's
yeah,
and obviously SEC game, or Kentucky could beat either one of those. Like
yeah,
I'm with you. Either they'll lose in Santa Clara, or we might see them in the Elite Eight.
yeah. That's just kind of what Kentucky does.
Yeah.
And no consistency. And honestly, though, man, no matter what, if they lose to Santa Clara, no matter how good Santa Clara is this year, boy,
Ooh, that seat under Mark
ugh,
Pope is going to be on
no.
fire. Let's move to the South region here. Florida, your one seed there. No SEC tournament win for them, surprisingly. Upsetting the semis by Vandy.
Slaughtered by Vandy.
Yeah, Vandy went on a roll there. Their 2 seed in that bracket is Houston. Their 3 seed is Illinois. 4 seed Nebraska, still looking for their first ever NCAA tournament win. The Huskers will get the Sun Belt champion Troy Trojans. So
Honestly,
that's a
that's a tough.
tough. That's a tough matchup for them,
Oh,
man.
like they got no like, and I get it. I mean, they got destroyed by Purdue in that first their Big Ten game. But really, I mean, as good as their season has been, and you feel like, man, this is a Nebraska team that's finally going to win a tournament game, and they might very well. But Troy is hardly the easy thing that you would have hoped for. And it's not a gimme at all.
No, the 5 seed there is Vanderbilt. They get a McNeese State. That's their 5-12.
And
Um,
honestly, I mean, Vandy's a weird one because what they did in the SEC tournament is impressive. But as I've learned in the past, falling in love with it based on how a team did in the conference tournament and not paying attention to how they did it at the end of the season can get you in
risky
trouble with the
business.
bracket.
Yeah, yeah,
Because this
risky
is the
business.
same team where we're like, Vandy's kind of falling off.
Exactly.
And then they go out and slaughter Florida. and
Yeah, and
and
there's
gave up
potential
the
there
South.
for a rematch in the Sweet 16. Yeah.
But I mean, they did a good job. They beat Tennessee 2 weeks in a row. I'll take that any day of the week. Good job, Vandy. 2 weeks
Yeah.
in a row,
Yep.
they
Yep.
knocked them off. Um,
But yeah, Florida, you're 8-9 in that one. It's Clemson, Iowa. I think Florida takes care of either of
Good
them.
God, that's going to be the slowest,
Yeah. Oh
most
God. Yeah.
boring game. First
And
one
then
to
you got
45 wins.
uh, you got North Carolina as your 6 seed there. They play
VCU.
VCU. That's a
That's
yeah.
a
That's
that's
another.
a tricky game.
Your 7-10's another SEC versus West Coast Conference. You got the 7 seed St.
Yeah,
Mary's and 10
yeah.
seed A&M Buckyball.
St.
That
Mary's
could
is a
be
good team. That's a
yeah, that
good.
could be a fun one to watch.
Honestly, the SEC might hate the WCC after the.
I'd about to say could see what happens here. I don't know. Let's see. We'll get to Gonzaga. You know they're in the
Yeah,
West region, which good for them. But
yeah, but what I take from this is, man, Houston at the 2 seed gets to play at home should they get that far.
and then that is real interesting. Yeah, putting them in as a 2 seed in Florida's region. I know Florida they can't be happy about that.
No, not at all.
Yeah, but that is I mean same thing. Where's that Midwest regional this year?
Where is the Midwest one at? I have
Because
no.
Iowa State's a 2 seed there for Michigan. That's
Yeah,
another one. It's like Um,
where is?
I was about to say this for whatever reason. This bracket I'm looking at does not have sites listed. What the hell's going
Yeah,
on
this
there?
ESPN doesn't have sites. It just is a
Yeah,
bracket.
but uh, yeah, that's I've lost my train of thought now looking at that. But yeah, that Florida Houston matchup in the Elite Eight, that potential matchup there, that is, of course, that's a big one. Man, the NCAA website doesn't have it either. What the hell are we doing here, y'all?
It's in Chicago. It looks like
Okay, so that's
the
yeah, Michigan's
Midwest.
close enough for them. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but there's still gonna be a lot of Iowa State folks that'll be there.
Oh yeah, no doubt, no
Should they
doubt.
get there? I mean, both teams. We know. Yeah, I mean Michigan. They're. I don't know if I realized just how big of an alum. Maybe I'm slow, but I mean, I realized they were big, but I didn't realize how big of alumni base Michigan has. They're everywhere.
Oh, it's yeah.
Like they're gonna have a great crowd no matter what. But Chicago, yeah, they're gonna be deep in Chicago. So Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. That is a
But
big
I
fan base.
see
That's why
Florida,
part of what,
even
yeah.
though, and despite, and talking about back to the South, despite Florida's, it's hard to say that they're not in the final, that they don't win the South. I mean,
Yeah, right.
even in
Yeah.
Houston, you just think, if anything, Ty Golden was already talking about it, but when they beat Kentucky, they just weren't looking right. And then I know he's probably been up all. He seems like a weird dude who's really, when he's bothered by something, he's gonna stick to that like every.
Mm-hmm.
So the loss of Vandy, I'm sure, is sticking with him hard. So he's. I don't know if I want to. Florida's gonna be a tough out. Like I don't see anybody outside of Houston, and I don't even know if Houston is, because Houston is better offensively this year, but that defense took a hit. They're not as good defensively as they were a year ago.
No, yeah, but yeah, like you said, it's just tough to see anyone but Florida.
Yeah,
But if someone will do it, it'd be Houston.
yeah.
But let's move on. Let's go East Regional. Duke, your 1 seed there. They finished strong, ACC tournament champs.
Despite the
Um,
injuries,
yeah, despite a few injuries. Yeah.
the other Boozer had a big game against in that championship game against Virginia. He dropped like 17. He played like a lot of minutes there. So, uh, Kate was it Caden Boozer? Yeah, he had some
Yeah.
playing time. Um, but now this is the damn coaches division. You look at some of the names that are in this division as far as coaches, and boy, we got some names.
Yeah, you got, of course, John Shire at Duke, but you got uh, UConn there, your 2 seed there. Of course, Hurley. You got 3 seed Michigan, Tom Izzo, legend. 4 seed Kansas, Bill Self. 5 seed St. John's, Rick
Yeah,
Pitino, fresh off a big ass whooping of UConn in the
yeah,
Big East tournament.
yeah.
They win the Big East
I
tournament
mean, you
champs.
even look at like TCU. I mean, Frank. Um, what's the name of it? I mean, he's been in coaching for forever. The TCU coach. I mean, you have Nick Cronin at UCLA, who's been around the block for a while. I mean, this is a coach's bracket like no other.
You got two the first coaches from the Nate Oates coaching tree making the tournament. South Florida there, Brian Hodgson, yeah.
Kudos to that man.
And then over in the West bracket, Kennesaw State, and our boy
Why?
Antoine Petway taking
Yes,
Kennesaw
sir.
State to only their second tournament ever. But yeah,
Hey, this is really, then this is where you see Alabama basketball turning into a power. When we have guys not only like getting jobs, but winning, and they're going to continue to move up, and that's going to lead to, you know what I'm saying? Like Alabama, if Nate Oates keeps going, he's going to have quite the coaching tree eventually. I feel
oh
like.
yeah, absolutely. And staying going back to this East bracket specifically, that South Florida matchup, Louisville can get got.
Yeah.
Talented team, but they have had some lapses this year, and
Mikael
South Florida
Brown
coming
has
off
to come back for that freshman. He's a hell of a player. If he
mm,
doesn't play it all for Louisville, like he missed the ACC tournament, yeah, South Florida might catch him, because honestly, South Florida is a little different, but he runs the same similar type of offense that Nate runs. So I mean, it's gonna be fast. They're trying to put up shots. So it's gonna be interesting,
yeah.
and but honestly, it's gonna. I I would lean Duke on the East, just because I mean they've been good this entire season. Um, but I will say I think that their toughest game is going to be in a possible Sweet 16 matchup with St. John's. I think that's going to be quite the test.
I think so, yeah, too. Or they get Kansas, and Kansas is one of those teams extremely talented. And
Yeah,
if it clicks for them, that's a team
right.
that could.
Well,
Just some great matchups
yeah,
possible. That 4 or 5 game in the second round with St. John's and Kansas. That'd be
I mean, you get Patino and
yeah,
Bill Self
yeah,
in the round of 32. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
yeah.
Um, you have a possible Izzo versus Hurley and the
Sweet 16. Yeah.
yeah, in the Sweet 16 as well. I mean, that. Whew, I
Yeah, we
mean,
mentioned South Florida's a potential to be the Cinderella
because
in this region, the bracket buster. Don't sleep
honestly,
on.
if things, I mean, Michigan State could get got in the 32. I mean, it
No,
depends.
yeah, I mean
I
we've
mean,
seen it time and time again lately. You know, Michigan State has talent, and obviously Tom Izzo's a great coach, but
but the thing with Tom
yeah,
Izzo, something they do once a tournament starts, where they just don't lose to they rare when they lose, it's rarely to an upstart
yeah, it's usually they just get got by
by
another
a blue
big
blood.
team, a
But
better seed.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's never any team where you're like it's a gotcha moment or a big upset. It's always a Kansas
yeah,
or a
or
Duke.
Duke, or yeah, they're upsets. And now, granted, they of course they've got everybody gets got in the tournament, but it's yeah, like you said, it's usually like they're the 1 seed or 2 seed, and they get bit by the 5 seed or
Yeah,
something like that. You know,
and
it's
it's like
never
Kentucky or
maybe
something.
the 8 seed, maybe. You
Yeah,
know, like it's rare. I think it's they did have a big one. I think that a 2-15 upset loss one time, but I can't remember who it was. But I know they were on the end of one at least.
yeah.
But
But
like I said, it happens to
rarely for
everybody. You know,
Izzo
it's
to lose
March.
to the little guys. He
Yeah,
usually loses the big dogs when he does lose. So South Florida, where they catch him in that 32.
yeah.
But
Um,
Louisville is talented. If Louis, but they're just a different team, and that's the thing. We're not, of course, we're not going to know if Mikal Brown is playing until probably tip off. It doesn't help your bracket or anything because you have to make that choice before if you if you believe
no,
him
yeah,
or not.
right.
Because they're a
Yeah.
completely different team when he's there compared to what they weren't when he's not. Um, but but it is a very interesting bracket. Um, but yeah, it's hard. I would have to think Duke comes out of it. Um, if they don't come out the East, I'm thinking St. John's.
Yeah, my initial, I haven't really poured over it yet, but my initial thought, if yeah, with you, is like, man, St. John's looking kind of tempting in that one.
Man,
Uh,
what after they got slaughtered by UConn, like
the
what was
end of
that
the regular
2 or 3 weeks
season, yeah.
ago? Like they've turned it up, and UConn pretty solid. I mean, they weren't nearly as bad a beating, but they handled them in that championship game. It really wasn't any question who was going to win throughout. Patino has them playing good ball, and last year they were good, but they had holes in their offense was terrible last year.
Yeah.
This is even though they're seeded differently. I mean, they were a 2, they were a 5 this year. I think this is a much better overall team than they were a year ago.
Yeah, and then don't at least keep a little bit of an eye on Ohio State, that 8 seed right there. They took Michigan to the limit. Probably should have
Yeah,
beat Michigan in the Big Ten
they
tournament.
did. But both that's gonna be an interesting game. That Ohio State TCU, because TCU they've they've gone toe to toe with some big dogs. I mean, they beat Florida. They beat they took Michigan to the limit at the first part of the year, right before Michigan went on that tear in the Thanksgiving tournament. They lost by like 3. They went on a little heater towards the end of the regular season. Should have beat Kansas in Lawrence, so that's gonna be an interesting game. And though I think Duke probably beats both teams, I think that they're gonna be in for a game from either TCU or Ohio State.
No, yeah, it is not an easy brag for Duke. Was it Arizona ended up being the number one overall,
They
or
they
was it?
say they claim Duke is, but Duke has a tougher bracket.
I'm about to say yeah. Let's go to that West. Arizona, the 1 seed over there, of course. 2 seed is Purdue. Purdue jumping up with that Big Ten tournament win. 3 seed there, Gonzaga. 4 seed Arkansas, red hot SEC champion for only the second time. That was kind of threw me
I
off.
was kind of shocked that that's only been the
Yeah.
second time. Like,
And none under Nolan Richardson.
yeah,
That's what
that's
really
smart.
surprised me. Yeah, I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy. They get Hawaii, who I would love for the Rainbow Warriors to make a run, but I think Arkansas is too good. Um,
And
five
honestly, I
seed
want to
Wisconsin.
see Darius Acuff like go far.
Yeah,
He's,
it'd be nice to see him against that Arizona team. I think
because
that
I
matchup.
think because he feels like he has almost that Carmelo esque type. He could have that Carmelo esque type NCAA tournament.
Hmm. You got Wisconsin, your 5 seed. BYU, your 6 seed. Something to pay attention to there too.
Yeah.
Um, Miami, your 7 seed there. A couple, your 8-9 is there is Villanova, Utah
Now,
State,
yeah.
Miami, Missouri. Your 7-10.
You know
That's
what the
interesting.
weird thing though?
Yeah.
As a 10 seed, Missouri gets to play in St. Louis
Hmm.
for the Miami game, and then against of course Purdue. It's going to be a very like Purdue will travel, but it's going to be a boatload of Mizzou fans in St. Louis. If nothing else, you're going to have quite the crowd.
I about to say, yeah, there's some interesting choices and this has been going on since they started. What do they call the bubble system? Where
Yeah,
it used to be just, the West had,
a lot of the West
two,
Coast teams.
yeah, well that, and it was just set on in the West. It used to be your first round. You had 2 locations for
Yeah,
each
yeah,
region,
yeah.
and
I get what you're saying. Everything was
yeah,
West
the
Coast.
West was in the West, and
Yeah,
East, Midwest, South, etc. Now they do these bubbles where you get these 4 team little bubbles, and then
yeah,
maybe another 4 team from a different bracket. It's just weird to me. You don't get to scout your opponent. Yeah, I
yeah.
just don't like that. But that's my old man. But yeah, this one is set up straight. Tough for me to really fall in love with a lot of these lower seeds. I feel like this is a chalk one, and I feel like Arizona maybe got the best bracket of any of the 1 seeds. Um,
Honestly, I think it's
or
hard.
Michigan,
I hate to say it, but I think Michigan might have.
yeah, Arizona and Michigan, which as we
I
said,
mean,
probably throughout the season traded the title of best team in the
yeah,
country.
I would say so. They gave it to
Yeah,
Duke in the end, and I don't know if Duke. I mean,
yeah.
they only had 2 losses as well, but and
I'm
they
about to say
did
they're
beat
the hottest team right
and they
now.
beat Michigan. So I mean, you got to go give it to. But personally, I think Arizona is the best team in America because
Hmm.
to me, I thought the Big 12 was the best basketball conference this year.
Yeah,
Uh, and they,
for
they
sure.
only lost twice this year, and in that conference, that's saying a lot. But this
Hmm.
Arizona team, the thing that scares me is that's my national championship pick. Things that scare about. I listen to a lot of. I do work nights, so I have plenty of time to listen to a lot and look at a lot last night after the brackets came out.
Hmm.
It wasn't uh, the wasn't really anything going on at work, luckily, so I have plenty of time. It's a lot of people picking Arizona to win the championship this year, which scares
Hmm.
me because that's
Yeah.
where as
Hmm.
my champion as well. And certain times that's a good thing, certain times that's a bad thing. The thing with Arizona is they have not made the Sweet 16 since 2016, surprisingly enough.
Mm.
And the last time they made the Final Four was 2001
Mm.
when they lost to Duke in the national title game.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, national title year of the year.
And that was the last time a West Coast team actually won the Final Four.
Wow.
So
Mm.
some strength. But this is a hell of an Arizona team. Maybe they break the curse. I'm gonna go with it um, because honestly, they've been that good. I think they're well coached, and they can win a lot of different ways.
Yeah, and if they're gonna get tripped up in this bracket, that Arkansas game, Sweet 16, that could be
Yeah, that's
if
the one. That's the one
yeah.
that I would. That's the one I looked at because Arkansas, honestly, I think has the best player in America. You can argue it a lot of different ways.
Hmm.
To me, Darius Acuff is the best player in America. Um, Arkansas though they ain't got length. They're athletic as heck.
Hmm.
They have other people that can score as well. That's going to be a tough out. Um,
It is, and on the other side, I mean, Gonzaga could give Arizona maybe some fits.
I don't
BYU,
see.
they got talent, and if they get,
We've seen
they're
Arizona smack BYU. I've seen,
exactly,
we've
yeah,
seen
we
it just
see. But
and
when you have guys that talented,
yeah.
if they, you never know if it just clicks. They have a potential. But yeah, to me, I just don't see anybody but Arizona coming out of this. And if it is, it's going to be Arkansas because, like you said, Acuff is going to get on a heater and he's going to carry this team.
Yeah, I mean, and they
Uh,
have. I mean, and we and we know Cal's history. I mean, he's known for
yeah.
this type of stuff. So I'm looking forward, and I hope it happens that we at least could see that Arizona Arkansas Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and honestly, that Arkansas Wisconsin possible 32 matchup has been interesting too because this is not your dad's Wisconsin offense. They actually score points.
No, yeah.
They have some great guard. The two, I, I man, I can't think of their names right now, but this. They've had great guard play as of late. They they can score, and we know they're. I mean, they're a talented team. There. I mean, they've taken. We saw them beat Michigan this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably should have beat Michigan this time too. But but they're a good team. So I think that's gonna be a very interesting 32. But yeah, to me, Arizona's kind of a class amongst itself, and
Mm-hmm.
again, yeah, Arkansas is there. Um, and honestly, Purdue is a 2 seed, and that's one of those other things that's tricky. Do you think about what they did the last month of the season,
Mm-hmm.
or do you fall in love with that Big Ten tournament run?
Yeah.
Because the talent is there at Purdue, but they
Yeah.
they just haven't put it together. Surprisingly,
But
they're an older team, so you would think that they would. I don't know.
And yeah, and sometimes in these tournaments, that's what clicks is these older teams.
Yeah,
That's every time you see when these Cinderellas make a long run, it's because they got like
they got
four
28 year old.
seniors, yeah, four seniors and a junior starting, and then
Yeah,
three more seniors and two more
yeah,
juniors coming off the
right,
bench, and then like one sensational underclassman.
right.
But
And it's
yeah,
all
no, I think
28-year
yeah,
olds that are
I
working on
think
the
it's clearly Arizona's to lose.
yeah,
But yeah, there's some good games all around. Some really good first round matchups. Some juicy potential second round, and then of
yeah.
course we'll be in the Sweet
The,
16. But we can talk about that next week.
the
For now,
teams
it's
that,
just
yeah. Thursday and Friday, two of the most glorious days of the sports season. The bad thing is, though, I don't. This is I think for a second year in a row, it's gonna be some upsets, but for the most part, it seems very chalkish.
yeah, it's hard to find. Like we mentioned a couple of them. South Florida, maybe Santa Clara is a 10. Troy as a 13, but yeah, it's hard to fall. You mentioned Akron as a 12 there. Uh, there's not a lot of Cinderellas you're looking at. You're like, oh man, but those
Yeah,
are usually the years when you do get a bunch, and
but
next thing we know,
hopefully we get them.
yeah,
Last
next thing you know, we come back next week and we're talking about how Idaho took down Houston or some shit. But
because honestly, like, yeah, you think it's a very top heavy, and I mean we got all 4 1 seeds last year, which led to a phenomenal Final Four.
yeah,
Um,
a
so we'll see
rarity
what.
too. Yeah,
So we'll see if that holds course. I mean, I would like to see a little shake up. I mean, because I think at the end of the day, we're gonna get big. I don't think we're gonna have any like crazy, you know, unhousehold name make the Final Four this year.
Yeah, it could absolutely be another year of all the one seeds, or at the very least, it could be one of those like 3 1 seeds and a 2 seed, or
It's
two
gonna be
one.
all. It's gonna be
Yeah,
Final Four is gonna have ratings just because it's names everybody knows.
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
gonna be any upstarts. It's not gonna, it's gonna
The
be
lowest seed that I could see would be that St. John's as a
Arkansas.
5 seed.
Yeah,
Uh,
Arkansas at that 4,
yeah, Arkansas at that 4, but
and
yeah,
still
I
in New
don't think
York.
there's
No,
no
no,
George Masons or Butlers in this year's field.
and
At
that
least
and
at first
that what's name
glance.
will be the weirdest Final Four that we've ever had with San Diego State and Miami
Oh,
and
and Florida
Central,
Atlantic.
yeah, Florida Atlantic and UConn.
I was about to say it was UConn that ended up in that, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah, damn. That's still
that was the weirdest one. Yeah,
sore
still,
subject as an Alabama fan.
yeah,
If what's his face is Brandon Miller's ankle is 100% in that
wow,
tournament, man,
that's
things might be different. Yeah,
yeah. I
but
don't know if it'd be UConn, but yeah,
yeah. So it go. We might have made the Final Four a year earlier, but
yeah.
so it goes. Let's move on to the women's side real quick. As you know, start with our girls in Crimson, a 6 seed. They'll play Rhode Island. Interesting, matchup there.
Yeah,
And
I
then
don't
they're
know.
playing in Louisville, right? Because Louisville is the high
Yeah,
seed of that 4.
I
Yeah,
don't.
and
That's
that's a
possible.
tough one. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
tough one. That's a tough out.
But if they somehow do get back to the second weekend for the first time since
It's
you
97, 98.
97, I'm about to say you mentioned it on the line today,
Uh,
but they would probably be awaiting Michigan again. So it's possible Alabama and Michigan face off in both Sweet
yeah,
16s. As they're the 2 seed, you got NC State as your 7, and Tennessee as your 10 over there too.
yeah.
Um,
Michigan. I mean, I didn't watch a whole bunch of Big Ten ball. Honestly,
no, yeah. So I don't know too much about the
I
Michigan
don't
women's
know.
team,
I mean,
but yeah.
but the thing about the Big Ten this year is there's a whole bunch of teams that are decent. Like Michigan,
Mm,
Iowa, and then UCLA
mm,
beat the hell out of everybody.
yeah.
It wasn't even close. I mean, what was the Iowa UCLA Big Ten championship game, and they won by like 40.
I don't know. Yeah, but
And
they're the number one overall, right?
yeah,
UCLA in this one. Yeah.
no, UConn is.
Oh, they did give to UConn. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
But back to, I mean, yeah, I would love to make the Sweet 16, but Louisville is a heck of a team. Um,
Hmm.
Probably they should have won the ACC championship.
Hmm.
Lost to Duke in overtime, but gave up. They're up 8 with like 2 minutes left in that regulation. It's gonna be a tough out. Honestly, but I guess we'll start. We got to start and beat Rhode Island. I mean, don't know much of. I can't say I know anything other than what I read on Rhode Island. I mean,
Hmm.
this is their first conference championship. I guess they made the tournament in the '90s. So not a lot of history there. Their
Yeah, I couldn't
coach,
tell you about the women's team. I could tell you
yeah,
a little bit about URI.
yeah,
My mom's side of the family's from Rhode Island, so they
you
were,
remember?
either Providence or URI
Yeah,
fans. But remember Lamar Odom's run there.
Lamar
But
Odom ran there, and Jim Herrick was the
yeah,
coach. Yeah.
hmm,
So
yeah,
they have a little history, but only thing I really know is Rhode Island did win their first ever conference tournament.
hmm,
But I think they have like 3 or 4 losses on the season, so obviously they win a
yeah.
lot.
28
Their
and four.
coach,
Yeah, solid
28
team.
and 4, so that's a hell of a record. I know their coach played basketball at Virginia with Don Staley, so they're
Mm,
friends. They were the backcourt when Virginia
hmm.
was super good at women's ball back in the day with her and Don. Um, but other than that, don't know much about them. But I guess I really shouldn't.
Yeah, they.
If I did, but yeah, that's one I would think that kind of how we do. When we play, South Carolina, Texas, there's a talent differential. I would
Hmm,
hope that our talent differential is enough that we should be able to, be able
hmm.
to solidly beat this Rhode Island team to at least get us an opportunity to play Louisville on a Sunday, I believe, or it'd be Monday because we're
Yeah,
Saturday.
yeah,
Yeah.
Monday. But But yeah, of course, we talked about the men's tournament looking like chalk. The women's tournament is always chalk. Very rare to get your big upsets. So
Right.
let's talk about the big teams. We mentioned we're in Regional 3, which is a Fort Worth regional. Texas is the one seed there. Of course, they put us out of the SEC tournament. You got Michigan. We mentioned the 2 seed. West Virginia is your 4 seed there. Kentucky even your 5 seed.
Yeah.
But yeah, Texas probably.
I would,
Louisville could give them some fuss, but Texas
yeah,
probably coming
Texas
out of this one.
is.
Yeah.
I would say Texas definitely. I mean, first of all, Texas doesn't have to leave the state of Texas till the Final Four.
Yeah.
They play 2 games in Austin, 2 games in Fort Worth, and you know, there's gonna be a lot of Texas fans there in Fort Worth for that.
Hmm.
So I would think they roll. The Kentucky team is pretty good. Um, you know, um, West Virginia. I mean, they did a hell of a job. Beating TCU in the Big 12 title game. So and they were the final. Moved up to the 4 line to get them a home game, which is huge. Um,
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't see anybody beating Texas. They're that good. They're well coached. They got a hell of a team.
Hmm.
So I'd be shocked if they don't. If they don't come out of that forward three, I'd be shocked.
Hmm. Yeah, your other Fort
But
Worth one. That's where
that's gonna
UConn
be,
is. Um,
yeah, that's kind of good
Obviously,
bracket.
yeah, it's kind of there. Vanderbilt, your 2 seed there. Ohio State, your 3. North Carolina, your 4 there. But yeah, it's UConn,
I
the number one overall, of course. Yeah.
I would like it to come down to um, Vandy and UConn just because I want to see Michaela go up against that UConn team. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
the SEC Player of the Year, possibly, up for uh, the
National
All
Player of the
American
Year.
player,
Yeah.
not possibly national player in that conversation at least. We know how Michaela Blake's. I would love to see her go up against that UConn team just to see what she can do against them. So hopefully we
Hmm.
get that matchup, just so we can see that because that's gonna be good TV. Um, I guess
Uh,
I'm interested in that Iowa State just because of their center.
mm,
She scores a lot of points. Was Audrey has the least. If you saw her, you would never think she's not to be a ass, but you would never think she's a basketball player. But a hell of a basketball player. I mean, so to see her go up against UConn, I don't. Of course, I don't think they win, but I think I would like to see that just to see how she does. She's a hooper, so I would like to
mhm,
see that matchup. But honestly, I don't see. And honestly, I don't see anybody beating UConn in this whole tournament. I think UConn repeats
mhm,
as a national champ, which hasn't happened since 2016 when UConn did it. So it's been a minute,
mhm.
but
Yeah, they are playing at a very high level this year. I
yeah,
think UCLA could be the one to get them, but
right,
it's tough. UCLA, they're in the Sacramento 2.
yeah,
Their 2 seed is LSU. Their 3 seed's Duke. Their 4 seed is Minnesota.
yeah,
Probably UCLA's again. The women's tournament's very chalky.
yeah. But
Um,
I mean, we could get a very good matchup in that Elite Eight with UCLA, LSU.
yeah, but say never count out LSU team.
I mean, obviously they're a talent. I mean, when LSU, because you got to think when LSU loses a game in the regular season, it's usually there's South Carolina or
Hmm.
Texas. They even beat Texas in the regular season. For whatever reason, they can't they can't beat Kim Mulkey can't beat South Carolina to save her life, and they
Hmm.
lost them in the SEC semis.
Yeah, before South Carolina got beat by uh,
Texas.
yeah, Texas. Thank you.
So,
Uh,
but I mean, we saw this matchup last year to get to the Final Four. UCLA did beat them, but it was a great game. I would expect this might be the best matchup going to the before you get the possible matchup before you get to the Final Four, just
mm,
because. LSU is almost they're good enough, have enough talent that they could be a 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but outside of that, that's the most interesting matchup that we possibly have outside of what we'll probably get in the Final Four, which is all 4 1 seeds unless somehow LSU beats um, UCLA.
Yeah. The last one is Sacramento 4. South Carolina is your 1 seed in that region. Their 2 seed is Iowa. 3 seed is TCU, and 4 seed there's Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Not the most unbeatable South Carolina team, but also
It's
still
still a
South
hell of a team.
Carolina. Yeah, still South Carolina.
You look at the teams that beat them this year. I mean,
Yeah.
the weird one. Now, I would like to see OU get to the Sweet 16 to see if they could beat South Carolina again. That was South
Mm-hmm.
Carolina's the one SEC loss in the regular season. So
Mm-hmm.
that'll be interesting if that happens. Funny, South Carolina could possibly play Clemson rivalry game, but obviously South Carolina's going to smack the hell out of Clemson. But little rivalry game there. Um, yeah, I mean, if it's not South Carolina, I would be shocked. I mean, I just don't see anybody that really beats them. And, they're going to be looking to take out OU.
Mm-hmm.
I'm high on the TCU. I'd said that they could possibly not leave Fort Worth to the Final Four. Fortunately for them, losing that Big 12 title game knocked them out uh,
Yeah.
of that Fort
Consideration.
Worth
Yeah.
regional. But they're still a talented team. I could see them knocking off Iowa in the Sweet 16. I mean, it'd be
Mm-hmm.
2 versus 3, so I mean, it wouldn't be the biggest shocker in the world, but I could see that as a possibility.
No, yeah, agreed. Certainly on the table there, but yeah, that looks like headed for that UConn South Carolina Final Four matchup, and
Yeah.
what a big one that
And,
would be.
and crazy enough, though, how dominant last year, it was weird how they played in the regular season. UConn slaughtered them in Columbia, and then they killed them in the national title game. So
Yeah.
right now, Gino is one of the few coaches that can say they have Don Staley figured out.
Yeah. But yeah, of course, like I said, we'll see what shakes out. We hope our uh, Crimson Tide gals can get
Please
to
just
the
make
second
that step.
weekend, but it's just a tough one.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'd be huge if they could.
but let's shift gears here. Of course, the big other big story running throughout last week was off-season stuff, the NFL free
Wow,
agency, and
man, they
man,
had
some
a
big
hell of
things happened. We talked
yeah.
last week. I was on here talking about how excited I was to see Max Crosby in purple and black and get a thing Tuesday night that the Ravens
Yeah,
backed out of the Max Crosby trade. He failed their physical. They just took a look. They had a bunch of actually had the Cowboys team doctor too in there,
yeah,
uh, uh, who is apparently like the world's foremost knee surgeon or something like
yeah.
that.
He didn't like it
But
either.
they didn't like what they saw long term, and the league league year hadn't officially started yet, so they were well in their rights to
Yeah.
call the Raiders back and be like, hey man, we're not going to make this trade. It pissed off everybody, and their mama had something to say about it, and
But why?
uh, what and this is look, I'm a Ravens fan, I'm biased, but let me just a little ISO ball here. Like, it is ridiculous for so many people to get so mad. I know that's the nature of social media now, and everybody's got to have their takes and all this. And
I don't.
but
I didn't understand the anger. Like,
again, it is well within their rights. They've done it before and had a good track record of it. They've
yeah,
done it. They did it in 17 or 18 with Ryan Grant, receiver. Remember, he had a hot minute in Green
yeah,
Bay. He was out of the league within 2 years. They saw
yeah,
something they didn't like in his physical. Nah, it was a defensive tackle. I want to say Bowers, something like that in 2020 or 2021. He only played a couple more seasons and nowhere near at the high level. Like, this is not the Ravens. Find stuff. They got a good physical,
yeah.
got a good training staff there. Um, So they're well within their rights, and a lot of people are like, oh, they just decided they didn't want to spend 2 first-round picks, and then the dumbest part came when Trey Hendrickson, of course, considered by many to be the best free agent out there this year, pass rusher for the Bengals. He was still available late Tuesday. So people, all of a sudden, your conspiracy theories like, oh, well, the Ravens, they just saw that they could get him and keep their first-round pick. So and all this bullshit story. And, of course, Wednesday morning, it is official. The Ravens did sign him. So great save there by Eric DeCosta's staff. And he comes with his own risk, but he passed physical. He's a couple of years older than Max Crosby, not as complete of a player. He's not as good against the run as Crosby is, but still a relentless guy. Great, gets after quarterbacks, exactly what the Ravens need and have needed for some time now.
And why not stick it to a division rival as well?
Exactly, yeah, who just refused to pay him. But that part, I think, is what pissed me off the most, is when people start going, oh, it's suspicious to how quickly they pivoted to Trey Hendrickson. They already had a deal with him. And it's like, first of all, of course they pivoted quickly to him. You don't.
You wouldn't.
You don't. It was Tuesday night, which means free agency had been going on for almost 2 full days at that point. They had to. What were they supposed to do? Just throw their hands in the air and be like, oh, well, like, I guess we're not going to get anybody. No, they had to pivot.
Why not?
And if the guy like Hendrickson, the guy that, again, was considered the best free agent out there this season.
Why not go after 1B?
Exactly. And then even better was the reports that came out after. So I was pissed off about that. I'm like, that is just dumb when people are like, that's shady. I'm like, no, that's good business. Of course you turn around quickly and go, oh shit, like what's plan B? Let's go. Get on the phone. There was one guy, I guarantee there was one guy calling the Raiders and then another one on the phone with Hendrickson's agent, be like, hey man, like, and then of course, vindicated by these reports that then came out, the Ravens were actually trying to get both. While they had Crosby in the building for the physical, they were still talking to Hendrickson and trying to pair them together, which, good Lord.
That was crazy.
And apparently they would have been able to do that through, they could have reworked Crosby's deal, that teams can play all this kind of money games and move things around, and they could have reworked the deal to where they could have got them both. Of course, they restructured Lamar's contract before the deadline to free up about $40 million in cap space, and they're still working toward an extension there. But of course, that was kind of what dominated early on. And they lost, of course, the Raiders threw $27 million a season at Tyler Lindenbaum, now former Ravens center. That's just crazy.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. The next highest paid center is $18 million. That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. Jalen Phillips, of course, fearsome edge rusher, goes to Carolina. The Panthers trying to build them something down there.
And I like what Carolina's trying to do. And
you also got Rasheed Walker on the other side of the line, the other side of the ball. So
I think things are going way. Considering what a train wreck has seemed, like things are turning around in Carolina.
Yeah, man. They got a sneaky one that, man, I really hope works out. But they got John Mechie, who has bounced around now. Of course, drafted by Houston, and then that leukemia diagnosis beat that. Goes from Houston to Philly, and Philly to the Jets, and now he'll be repaired with Bryce Young, and they had a great connection in Tuscaloosa. So hopefully that kind of kickstarts John Mechie's career. As a Bama fan, you just want to see him succeed with his story, and he was such a
good dude.
Yeah, and such a great player down in Tuscaloosa too. It's always funny, but after years of rolling my eyes at every Texas fan, well, if Colt McCoy hadn't got hurt, Alabama fans got their own version of that, and if Jameson and Mechie were healthy in 21, they probably would have beaten Georgia twice. Some other big names. Alec Pierce returning to Indianapolis. They traded Michael Pittman to the Steelers.
Dude, they paid, was it for 132 or?
A lot of money.
They believe in them. My goodness.
Yeah. Speaking of paying a lot of money, Odafe Owe, former Raven and then Charger, of course, got traded mid-year and did, got 10 sacks. He he had 3 of them in the loss to the Patriots
Mhm.
in the playoffs. But man, 25 million a year for him is a lot of money for a guy who really hasn't. He had 10 sacks one year for the Ravens too, but he hasn't really turned it on and has like his potential could have been. So, Commanders taking a big swing on that, hoping it works out.
But this sounds very familiar. I know it's a whole different era, but Washington, who, what was it? Who was it? It was when they did that with before back in when Albert Hainsworth they gave him the year,
Oh man, yeah,
and
back
that
in the
did
day.
not work out. I know it's completely different era and
Yeah.
different situation, but that's immediately what I thought of when I saw what they gave him.
Yeah, it's yeah, always a good player, but is he 25 million a year good? I don't know.
Oh, right.
A big one too. Mike Evans will not be playing in Tampa Bay first time in his career. He will be in San Francisco. That's a interesting one there. Just to add to another of those players that can get injured a lot over there in San
They
Francisco and
are,
their
man.
electromagnetic field and
They're either going to be the most electric offense in America, or they are going to be out at the same time.
I'm about to say, yeah, now that I know it has potential. Yeah, if it's healthy, man, throwing a Mike Evans out there, whew,
I mean, they
uh,
have
uh,
that could be ridiculously talented bunch, and then McCaffrey, and I mean that could be. But man, just the fact that man, the chance of them over under 8 games altogether.
man, yeah, there's a lot of risk and reward
A
there.
lot of risk and reward, but I honestly I never thought Mike Evans. I see a day where Mike Evans was not a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. It's gonna be weird.
It is
See him
gonna, yeah,
anywhere else.
really weird seeing him not.
Yeah, and you
Somebody,
have
let's
to
see.
think I don't know. They've who the coach down there. They've kind of picked him over a lot of different people recently. I guess him and Mike Evans may not been got along the best, so that moved Mike and kept him, and they had the chance to get Leon Coleman as a coach, and they chose their coach over him. So, yeah, eventually he's gonna have to really show up this year because
Hmm.
I think it's a lot of people wondering what's going on with in Tampa as far as, and I think Mike Evans, Todd Bowles is the coach, but there's been a excuse me, I have a lot of Buccaneers fans are like, what is going on? Like we're just losing a lot of people, and Bowles is maybe not the most popular guy right now. So
Yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
certainly something to yeah, think about there and watch. Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, going to
Wow.
the Chiefs. Potential. I mean, it's what they need. They need a guy like him, and with Pat Mahomes coming off the ACL injury late in the season too. So who knows what he's going to be like at the start of the season.
How did like how does that work though? I mean, you have a back like how do you let him just go like that?
Yeah, I
Because
mean that's some interesting choices the Seahawks made this year, man. I
they
guess
lost a
they really
couple
like.
people.
Yeah, I guess they like Zach Charbonnet coming back from injury, but
Yes, but
um,
man, he
one
looked
of the more
really.
yeah, that's
I don't
that's the
know.
question. One of the more interesting ones, Malik Willis getting paid to go to Miami. Um, of
It is
course,
interesting.
former high pick of the Titans, never really got a fair chance there. Went
Because
to back up, yeah, Jordan Love in Green Bay and showed some flash this year,
yeah,
enough to get paid down in Miami. Who's, they're going to have a rough year. It's still going to be rebuilding there, but
yeah.
there's some talent there.
But it makes
Kyler
sense.
Murray.
'Cause,
Oh, go ahead. No.
no, I'm saying it makes sense for him to go because then they get the dude from Green Bay. So I mean, at least he knows Malik.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A familiar coach
Familiar.
calling plays there. A
So
guy he knows.
I'm sure that
Continue his
helped.
development.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure that helped out with him being moving in that
yeah.
paycheck in Miami as a as a guy. And I think that's
Yeah.
good though, because obviously, Malik Willis. We knew he had talent coming into the league, but you knew he was gonna need some work just because of his style, and he was a little rough around the edges. But you knew he had potential, and then he went to the worst possible place for person like in that situation. After all the terrible moves that we've talked about plenty with the Titans, a quarterback like that was the worst
Yeah,
selection.
yeah.
And I'm just happy he got to go to a stable organization in Green Bay, learn behind good offensive minds, and hopefully that works out for him well, and he has a successful, at least gets a chance to find success and not just benched after a couple of games or really never given much of an
Yeah,
opportunity.
given a fair shot. But yeah, he'll. Like we said, I don't think Miami isn't under any pretenses that they are going to compete for anything big this year. So I think
No,
that he's going to get a chance to develop, take his lumps, and learn.
but
Uh,
that's all you can do because I mean he's still a young
yeah,
guy. He's still a young.
exactly. Yeah. So speaking of quarterbacks, still under 30, Kyler Murray going to be in Minnesota competing with J.J. McCarthy there. So
They do not believe in JJ McCarthy, do they?
I don't think they do, and I don't know if his injury is worse than some people think, but I
Yeah.
mean, I
Because
never believed in him. Let's be honest. Not nothing against the young man, but he came from an offense at Michigan that did not ask him to win games,
yeah,
and just people being so high on him in the NFL. I
I
was like,
never saw it myself. Coming into that draft season, and I was like, man, if there's gonna be a bust, it's gonna be JJ McCarthy, and people are like you just saying that because he beat you guys. I didn't think he was good in our game. I thought our defense was trash. like,
no, and yeah,
yeah,
and
took the clutch
if you remember,
plays.
there was some lucky bounces.
Yeah,
He threw a pick on his first play of the game, but Caleb Downs' like toe was out of bounds or
yeah,
something. They had that muff punt toward the end where the ball bounced right back to the guy. Instead of coming to an Alabama player inside the
right.
10 or whatever. He had that one play where they did that like tricky throwback play where he almost got overthrew, but he leapt and caught it, and as he gets hit, throws up a prayer that gets called. Yeah, there was some, not to get.
I didn't see the. I never. I mean, he seemed like a nice enough guy or a humble dude and good guy, but I never saw the hype as far as like a quarterback.
Yeah, as an Alabama fan, you didn't come out of that game going like, "Man, JJ McCarthy beat us." It was just
Yeah,
like, "Man, like we kind of blew it," or that
yeah.
running game, if anything.
Michigan as a team was solid. He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
good. I would say he was good for that system. I mean, obviously he wasn't ever going to lose you a game. He could do a
yeah.
thing or two to win, but it wasn't like, oh man, JJ McCarthy is just amazing.
No,
It
that to
wasn't a
me,
Deshaun Watson like performance or anything like that. Let's just say that.
no,
Like,
to me, his NFL ceiling. I was like, man, he could be like a Chase Daniel, like a career
right.
backup that's he's
But
solid for you when you
so
need him for a couple games or whatever. Like he'll keep the boat steady, but
and maybe some of it too. I mean, maybe I mean, to have those injuries that he's had that early in his career is tough.
yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. So maybe
Um, but I
hey,
wasn't sold
we're
on him
not.
coming
Yeah,
into the league, so I don't
no, yeah,
understand the. I didn't understand the hype, and honestly, obviously, my Minnesota feels like with your injuries and maybe we had, but obviously, Kyler Murray isn't coming just to be your friendly backup. Kyler
no,
Murray
yeah.
is coming to win the starting job, so I mean, JJ is definitely gonna be pushed to the limit. If he stays starter, I'd kind of be shocked.
Yeah, it seems like Kyler Murray's coming in there to at least was it 1 year deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, do
He didn't
that.
come to sit. Let's just say that.
No. But let's see. Elsewhere, John Harbaugh signing all kinds of former Ravens to
Yeah,
go
he is.
follow the Giants. Isaiah Likely being the big one of the bunch. Also got
He got a
Pat
lot of
Ricard, the
money.
fullback. Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, Isaiah Likely got a lot, which
He's a talented
it's
dude,
it's
but
funny, and also for every dumbass Ravens fan that's out there, being like, I can't believe they chose Andrews over Likely. They didn't. They tried to work out an extension with Likely. He didn't take it, or his agent, or whatever. They didn't like the price, so they got Andrews and a more team-friendly price. It's fine.
Right.
Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs going to New England. That's a good
He's
one
good.
there for Drake May.
Yeah. Kind of Diggs replacement.
I'll tell you one I really liked. Travis Etienne, or as he said, his name is actually pronounced more like Achan. But Travis
Yeah. I was
Etienne
like,
going to the
what?
Saints. Yeah, going to the Saints. I really like that move there, getting Tyler Shuck, a premier running back, a guy, a couple 1,000-yard seasons now.
Because Kamara's kind of in the end of his career.
Yeah. Alvin Kamara, for as great as he was, he's at the tail end, if not, and maybe, I don't know if they cut him or keep him there to kind of mentor. And
Yeah.
I mean, he could still be someone that, he's not your number one, but he could come in and still contribute a lot. I just really like that signing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you would go wrong with that. I mean, if anything, I was wondering then I was shocked that Jacksonville let him go because I really thought
Yeah,
he
me
was
too.
coming
Yeah.
into his own there. The Jaguars is a team where at the end, yeah, they lost to Buffalo, but before that, they were rolling off wins and they looked really good and seemed comfortable in what they were doing. And Liam Cohen did a hell of a job, and it seemed like I don't know if that hurts him or not. Yeah, great pickup for the Saints, but I was kind of shocked that they let him go like that just because he's a versatile back, and I don't
Yeah.
know.
But yeah, I'm trying to look at see some other. That's kind of it for the big names. I mean, there's some other, Tua going to Atlanta, 1 year deal there. So now they got two left-handers with injury. That's an interesting one. I don't know if he's come to compete or insurance or what there, but that's man. The Falcons are getting clowned on for their signings this year.
Oh man,
I saw people putting out that meme of the Falcons signing free agents, and it was that clip of that dude running alongside the garbage truck, just like sprinting, taking up garbage bags, running back to the
bro,
truck, throwing them in.
damn.
Yeah, it was crazy. They were getting clowned, but
But they're known for making dumb decisions.
but yeah,
I
you
mean,
got
we just look at what they did. I mean, they threw all that money and then drafted. I mean, so I mean they were already down, and then I don't know, they just made some weird decisions there. But yeah, but it'd be interesting. Yeah, like you said, I don't know, is Tua just a backup, or if what's his name's hurt, or not healthy. But then he has his own health issues himself, so I don't know. But it was
yeah,
time for him to get out of Miami, so
yeah,
it had to
exactly.
happen.
Whole type of change
They
there.
ran its
So,
course. Yeah.
how do you feel about your Cowboys all season so far?
I mean, I like it.
Uh-huh.
If anything, as much as we got clowned last year for moving on, we've done a lot of trading with the Packers as of late. But I think our defensive line is going to be super legit next year. I mean, we got Quinn and Williams. The dudes from two dudes from Green Bay. I can't think. I don't know why I can't think of their names right now. But we've our biggest thing, of course, is the defense, and
I
I
about to
thought
say
that we did a solid job.
yeah, yeah, you've addressed
We
that.
hit
Yeah,
hit all the spots we needed. We
yeah, you
addressed the
addressed.
defense.
Yeah, you got Quinnen, Kenny Clark, Solomon Thomas. You signed
Yeah,
Tito Abonia up the middle
yeah,
too. Sam Williams re-signed. You addressed the secondary. Jalen Thompson coming over from the Cardinals.
yeah.
Solid safety pickup there. You got Kobe Durant at corner. Like you said, addressed it. Picked up Sam Howell as a backup to Dak there.
Yeah. Which is
Um,
not a that's a
or at
solid
least
solid
it's,
backup. Should
yeah,
should be
he at
needed.
least competes in that because they still actually Cowboys now have 4 quarterbacks under contract with Joe
Yeah,
Milton and Will Greer also still under contract. So obviously they will all not make the team, but
yeah.
yeah, and we talked about
Well,
my Ravens, Trey Hendrickson, the big one, of course. Jalen Hawkins, safety there, they needed one. Um, They get him, uh, re-sign Tyler Huntley as backup Lamar, which it's good, worth a little extra for a backup quarterback, just because he fits the offense, and you obviously, he's not Lamar, nobody's Lamar, but
Yeah.
you kind of similar style to Lamar when he comes in, so that's good for consistency. Resign Chidobe Awuzie at corner. Brought in
Mhm.
John Simpson for the interior line. That was big. And still more to come. We talk about there's still some big free agents out there, man. Jawan Jennings still out there. Stephon Diggs, uh, Joey Bosa.
I think that Stephon Diggs, I think people wait to see what happens with him on the
I
legal
bet
side.
say obviously some legal issues.
He has some legal issues.
We'll see what
Right.
happens there. Aaron Rodgers, if he hasn't said one way or another if he's coming back. Kirk Cousins is out there. Debo
I
Samuel's
would,
out there.
dude, Aaron, just hang it up. Like you,
I about to say it's just, the one thing it's that everybody's wondering is the hiring of Mike McCarthy there in Pittsburgh. Does that mean that Aaron Rodgers is coming
stay
back for at
there.
least one more season? Yeah.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, but at some point, like you're just not who you're not the. I don't know. You're just not him anymore. You
Yep.
showed some moments last year, and we always wondered what would have happened that first year as a Jet if he hadn't got hurt, like two plays after running the flag out.
Mm-hmm.
What would have happened with that season? But ever since then, man, it's been a tough road, man. I wouldn't want to keep going,
No.
but that's just me.
Uh,
Um,
There's a lot of big veteran names still out there. Cam Robinson, of course, Alabama player, Roll Tide, a tackle, David Njoku, a tight end, who at times has been the top tight end in the game, but he's
yeah,
battled some injuries past few seasons.
and plus he's been in Cleveland, so that doesn't
Yeah,
help.
exactly. Cam Jordan's still out there, older edge rusher, but he had 10.5 sacks last year.
I thought it was
He's
interesting though that Kansas City signed Justin Fields.
Yeah, traded actually for him with the Jets today to get him there.
But
That's
it
an
was a
interesting one.
they
Did they? I
trying
don't know
to
if they.
was
And
was
didn't
basically
they?
telling me that
Yeah.
they're not 100% about Pat at all.
And didn't they get back Gardner Minshew too as a
I
backup? I
think
thought
they did.
I thought I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
But I thought, but that's probably really good. If anything, that's amazing for Justin Fields because if there's anybody who can save his career, it would be Andy Reid right now.
Hmm.
There's not much of a better coach that you can have. Um, and honestly, man, everybody's oh Justin Fields is terrible, but look where he's been.
Hmm.
He was in Chicago during some that coaching staff was terrible. That he was, Everflu was a horrible. He was a horrible head coach. He's a horrible defensive coordinator. I mean, he was in a bad spot there, and everybody's in a bad spot when they go to be a Jet.
Yeah. It's Yeah,
So
exactly. It's a cursed
so
franchise.
and then Geno Smith back as being a Jet.
I about to say yeah, Gino back there. That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
Um, you got to wonder if the Jets are maybe just playing the game for next year's draft. With maybe like an Arch Manning or some other big quarterback to come out. And,
I would think so because honestly, it is not a quarterback that I would want.
yeah, about to say that. I
I
think.
wouldn't even honestly, and people say, "Oh, you're just saying that you're a hater." I wouldn't even be excited about getting Fernando Mendoza.
I about
I
to say I know
get,
I know what you're about to say because I agree with you.
I get why. I mean, anytime you're Heisman guy and national champion, and he's done some good things, but it just seems so. I don't know. Just something that I'm not seeing as far as like just I'm not betting my whole franchise on that. If I'm a GM and my job's on the line, I'm not that excited about that move.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I mean, man, hopefully I'm wrong. I don't. Honestly, I don't want to. I don't want to see anybody, fell out of the league and be called a bust or anything like that ever. And that's not really how I am. I like to see guys succeed. I would, it'd be amazing if he had a hell of a career, as a Raider.
Hmm.
But I just don't see him being a great. He might have a. I could see him having a career in the NFL just because I don't think he's ever going to make a mistake that like mistakes. If anything, he'd be a lifelong backup and have a hell of run at that. As a starter, I don't know. I don't buy it, but who knows?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the class, it's
No,
amazing how far
I
that
was just
class is falling.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick. I agree with the Mendoza. There are certain things you read, and you kind of look at the Indiana offense. It was almost kind of a JJ McCarthy situation, different type of offense, and he was asked to do more than McCarthy, but very simple one read RPO concepts a lot.
Yeah,
And granted, he did it well, and he's a leader, and that
he's
kind
a
of
he's a
intangible
leader.
takes you far. But if I'll be honest, if I were the Raiders, I'd trade that number one pick back and uh,
But I think this is
yeah.
yeah,
Just build because you got so many holes in that roster.
yeah,
That why not get a couple more picks and just really rebuild and find your quarterback, some other way or wait till next year. Just
yeah.
you can
All
build a
the time
great you can build a great foundation and then almost it. Not to say
because
it doesn't matter who your yeah.
they still have what's the name right? The who was the guy that they drafted? Couple was it last year or the year before? They just drafted a trying to think.
Oh, playing behind Gino.
Yeah,
Uh, hell, now I'm blanking. I know who you're talking about. I can see him, but yeah.
so I'm not sold. I and honestly I don't know. Aiden O'Connell. Yeah, that's what it
That's
is.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Aiden O'Connell. I would let him just be the quarterback this year. If
Yeah,
that was me, I would
or
trade the
si-
picks and get as much as I can and
Or
wish the
sign a
best.
cheap veteran like Joe Flacco's still out there. I mean, he's an ageless wonder. Let him just throw passes. Hell, bring Russ in or some shit. Don't spend a lot of money on it and just get to next year and trade those picks. Like I said, trade that one pick and really build up your roster because you need it.
It's just weird though how quickly everything changed. I mean, at one point this is supposed to be, oh, what a quarterback draft this is going to be, and now you look at it and do
Yeah,
I want any of these guys?
that's like,
I
yeah. On the other hand, Uh, but yeah, we're hitting hour 40 here. So let's go ahead start wrapping up. Elsewhere on the world of sports, World Baseball Classic about to wrap up. We're gonna get USA and Venezuela in the title game. Uh, don't know how much y'all have watched that, but it's been a fun little tournament. But
yeah,
these all these international tournaments. They pop up all the time. You saw that they just try to capture that kind of the World Cup, but it just never will because it's just.
but actually the
We
crowds have been pretty legit for the World Baseball
I bet,
Classic.
as I was saying, and they're smart. They put them in cities like Miami where you're going to get, that
A
Latin
lot of
population. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, no, it's been fun. There's been some, we had Venezuela and Italy in a semifinal
Mhm.
tonight. It was a great game too, but it's a fun matchup there. But yeah, I just think back to all these times when, these hockey had a real big push in the late 90s, early 2000s when they NHL players started playing in the Olympics, and then they tried to do a World Cup of hockey that was a really big deal, and it
that's
was a
tough.
real fun tournament to watch. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's tough without to
but
stick with it and to
but
stick with it over the
the
years.
thing
Yeah,
with hockey though is there's so many international players. You know the thing is with U.S. stuff is there has to be a solid U.S. team, and it just
yeah,
nothing else they wouldn't be there with the hockey. And unfortunately, too, a lot of people don't know who these hockey players are.
I about to say yeah, it's tough. If you're a hockey fan, it's
Yeah,
big,
of course,
and
if you're a hockey fan, but
yeah,
your average American got behind and was really into the U.S. hockey team when in the Olympics. But the same folks who were watching the games, I guarantee, didn't know but two people on the team.
yeah. But yeah, it's just
Yeah,
these tournaments
but
are fun, and
they are
it's nice
fun.
to see guys play for their country. You watch like the passion of the Venezuelan guys
Oh
tonight.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, just
But it's funny
absolutely
too, though.
phenomenal.
But the funny thing though is like when we lost to Italy and everybody, oh, we lost to the Italians. Man, that there I was like, this really not that big of an upset because I mean it's a lot of time, but all these dudes are from the U.S. They
I
just
about to
have
say
this
they.
Italian descent. They're not from Italy.
I
It's
about to
not
say
like
yeah. They're Italian in the way that Tony Soprano was Italian.
it's not like they went
Yeah,
and got like
yeah.
it's some dudes who's not in the major leagues and they're just rounded up nine folks out
No,
of middle
it's
league.
yeah, it's dudes that grew up in Brooklyn and the Jersey Shore and
Yeah,
shit. Like
it's like a whole
uh,
bunch of dudes who've been in the
yeah.
major league. That's
Well,
what oh
yeah,
my god, we lost to Italy. I'm like, man, chill out. Like they're all
yeah,
American and they're all in the major leagues. Like it's
yeah.
not
Right.
not some
Yeah, it's
upsets.
like the Netherlands has a team, the Kingdom of the
Yeah,
Netherlands. I was like, man, Netherlands. I was like, man, those are dudes. Those are every dude on there is from Curacao or some Dutch
yeah,
island, in the Caribbean.
absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
Ozzy Albies, Braves players big when he had a big
yeah,
walk off. That was, uh, yeah, it's fun, but it's fun.
yeah.
It's fun to
It was a
watch.
good time.
But that, let's see elsewhere. You got like Champions Leagues in your round of 16. That's
yeah.
heating up. My Arsenal, big weekend for them in the Premier League. A big 2-0 win, coupled with a tie from Manchester City, opens up a 9-point lead for them atop the table. Of course, a record-breaking weekend too for Arsenal. Max Dowdman became the youngest player in Premier League history to score a goal at 16 years old and some odd days, whatever it is. Which, man, it's crazy. It's so funny when I watch stuff like that. And soccer in particular is that sport where this young guys. My wife comes in the room. I'm watching that. She comes in and she goes, "That looks like a baby." I'm like, "He is. He's 16 years old." And she's like, "And he's playing professional." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, and he's really damn good too.
Yeah. Soccer is his own breed. Like it's no other.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a whole
Yeah,
different.
you obviously don't see that like the NFL, but you don't even see that in like basketball or like even the got straight from high school guys back in even like the Kobe's and KG's back in the day still had
The night some time they had to get
yeah.
like
Yeah.
I remember mid '90s Kobe. When the Lakers were somewhat before they got Shaq,
Mhm.
and he was struggling at times. I remember one that he was airballing threes, and Nick Van Exel and them were just laughing at him on the bench. But there was a time when the Lakers were tough and Kobe was good, but he was not Kobe that we all know.
yeah,
Like
it was,
it took some time for him to,
yeah,
and that's one of the
Kobe, I was about to say Kobe with hair and then shaved head Kobe or two different Kobe's.
yeah. But I've always wondered, and I mean he was just meant for LA just because his personality and his just how big of a name he was. I mean LA was just meant for Kobe. But what if he had never went to LA? What would have happened?
If he stayed in was it Charlotte that drafted him?
Yeah, Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte, yeah.
No, obviously, probably he's only in Charlotte a contract or two, when he goes somewhere else.
Mhm.
I don't think he would ever fully had a career in Charlotte, honestly. But I've always wondered what would have happened.
I about to say
Would
cuz
he have?
he would have been was Zoe in Miami by then? Was Alonzo Mourning in
I
Miami
think
by then?
he was. If he wasn't, he was about to be.
I'm about to say if he wasn't, and then Larry Johnson. I don't know if he was in New
I
York
think
yet,
he
but
was
man,
gone
it is an interesting alternate reality, yeah, where Kobe comes in, gets paired up with Zoe and LJ, and
because that
man,
was a
get
tandem
gets
that.
in gets in a Grandmama commercial.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a tandem.
yeah,
And honestly, I was just reading something on them. They had legitimate beef.
mm,
Like, like Zoe wanted to be the guy. He wanted to be the one, and Charlotte wanted to keep Larry as the number, the guy. But man, if those two had ever, they could have been something serious. If they had stayed, if they got along or gelled better. I mean, I think they gelled pretty well considering. It was pretty cool. You saw him and Muggsy and a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was a kid, man, Larry Johnson uh, was probably outside of Mavericks was players. Everybody's like Mike and
Mm-hmm.
Larry was my favorite player
Man,
growing
I'll
up.
tell you what, playing that old NBA Jam game, them Hornets with LJ and Zoe,
Yeah,
man, that was a tough,
that was a
tough,
tough.
tough matchup.
Yeah, that was a
Uh,
tough match. But man, I thought Larry Johnson was just great.
he's a good player, man. He's one of the kind of earlier big men that could kind of shoot
Yeah,
too.
yeah, he was a big dude,
Mm,
but he could shoot, and he was
yeah,
explosive, and man,
yeah, and he was
and
a
then
mean, mean, little bit of a mean streak too. Like he
yeah,
was a,
and then
but
he had quite the run in New York after that.
yeah, yeah, he had a good run in New York, man. Those kind of turn of the century Knicks teams were,
Yeah,
him, Spreewell there, they together.
that that 99, that weird short 99 season where they went
They
to the
made,
final
yeah, they made the run
out
as
the
the eight
eight
seed.
seed. But
Yeah.
that man, they had a squad.
Mm,
They had Larry, they had Allen Houston,
mm,
they had
yeah.
Marcus Camby,
Mm.
um, and then they had a squad.
Like I said, was Spreewell on those teams or was he
Spree was on
before or
that.
after?
Yeah, Spree was there too.
Yeah, it was like, and that was like kind of the last really good years of Latrell Sprewell too.
Yeah,
Was
and
that,
for a while he had a couple of big time. He had some great years in New York. But that was a squad, and they really had that, that tough guy. What you kind of got from the Knicks in the early '90s, and had that real feel. But that they were some that was a fun little squad to watch at the end of the '90s, early 2000s, before they kind of got old and hurt
yeah,
backs. But they were fun to watch for a little bit.
for sure. Let's see elsewhere around the sports world. Looks like the Niners are also adding Christian Kirk to the receiver room. That's interesting. Going after another veteran there. Steve Kerr won his 600th NBA game as a coach. I think he's the 28th coach to do that. Fourth fastest ever. Um,
He came into the greatest situation of all time.
he did, yeah, but he also made it work.
He did make it work.
My Pelicans beat your Mavericks tonight.
Obvious. And we had
Yeah,
just beat Cleveland. Who knows?
and I'll tell you, man, like not to
Zion had a huge game tonight. I saw.
he did, and as a Pelicans fans, I know better than to get too excited, but there's been a little something since DeJounte Murray came back healthy. You can see it. They should have beat Houston the other night, honestly, and they got screwed by
His
the refs. They got
his
screwed by
step
the
over
refs, man.
his step over last in the middle of the week.
Oh, oh,
That was nasty.
disrespectful. Just not even a
Oh,
step or walked over to the man to stand over to him after putting him on a disrespectful, but in the best possible basketball way.
my goodness. Yeah,
But yeah, I think they got screwed in that Houston game. But yeah, they have showed a little something different, and since
yeah.
DeJounte Murray's been back, the win tonight actually pulls them out of the last place of the Southwest. Same record as Dallas there, but I guess we have the tiebreaker or something. But
Yeah, I think
um,
y'all beat us every time this season. If I'm not
they did.
mistaken.
And they've moved 6 wins out of the last 10. They've moved to 12th place. I'm granted that's still 10 whole games back behind Portland in that 10th spot for the
Mhm.
play-in, and with only, let's see, was it 69? You got 13 games left. That's pretty
Hey,
impossible
that's
task right now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
an improvement. And if anything, you just make that Hawks pick, give it less chance to be a good, great pick, so
Right.
it doesn't hurt as much. But
You have to, yeah. If you got, it'll be interesting to see what y'all do. If y'all keep
Yeah. Off season, really interested there how they construct the roster. But
yeah, interesting.
yeah. Other than that, let's see.
I
There
just
was
hope my
one more thing.
Mavericks. I hope we just stay high enough in the draft so we can get Darius A. Cuff in the draft. That's all I'm hoping
Ooh,
for.
there you
That's who
go.
I want. And people be like, "But you already have Kyrie." I can't trust that Kyrie's gonna stay healthy.
I
I
bet
want
say
Darius
is
A. Cuff.
who knows
That
about
that
that,
I don't
right?
know. I fell in love with Darius A. Cuff as far as non-Alabama players, and honestly, I think he's a little better than Phylon as far as his consistency. But man, if I would love to see him in Dallas. And I think with where we are, I don't think we'll get the one again. But I think with the hype for other people that where we get Darius may still be on the board.
Man, not to say you don't want the one, but if you're a Dallas fan, I imagine you don't want the one just so you don't have to hear everybody saying, "Oh, conspiracy." They
Yeah,
gave up Luca for 2 picks, 2 number 1s,
yeah.
but no, yeah. I did have one more thing with. Oh, yeah, of course. A little sorrowful news. Lou Holtz passed on. Of course, legendary coach and just personality in college football. Last guy to win a national title for Notre Dame way back in 1988. But also,
I think his run at South Carolina was, to
I was
me, his most.
about to say that resurrecting that South Carolina program, coming in a winless season and bringing into a bowl game, turning them around, and really laying the groundwork for what eventually Steve Spurrier came in
Yeah,
and did there.
absolutely. I think that may have been, to me, that was more impressive than anything he had done at Notre Dame, just because Notre Dame, has a history. I mean, he obviously took them to a different level, but South Carolina was dead.
Yeah,
Horrible.
a terrible
Horrendous.
program, and Lou Holtz is. Spurrier, like I said, gets all the love for the 3 straight, SEC East titles or whatever, or 3 straight 10-win
But he
seasons.
came into a good situation.
Exactly. Yeah, Lou Holtz turned that program
They
around,
were
and
horrendous.
absolutely, the only negative about his tenure there was the way it ended there with that fight against Clemson, where
Yeah.
both teams agreed they wouldn't even go to their bowls as punishment. But yeah, and then of course afterwards, for years on college. What I guess college football tonight back then or whatever it was.
The college football final
Final, yeah.
with him and Mark May going at it was
Oh
hilarious.
man, with Reese Davis as host, and yeah, him and Mark May just
Pledge.
two guys who knew how to do the bickering, the back and forth formula without being too obnoxious. Of course, they
Yeah,
had both had their moments, but it was a fun watch.
yeah.
Dumb little gimmicks, and of course, such a quotable guy. A loss for the game of college football as a whole. Just like I said,
Oh man, the funniest one that I heard recently, I forgot he had ever said it, but people were giving their stories about Lou, and they had asked him about. He had said something to somebody about you know, someone asked him if you would pick your wife or your dog, and he said, "I'll tell you what, you put your wife and your dog in the back of a trunk for 10 hours. You drive around, you open it up. Only one of them's happy to see you when you lift the trunk." Oh man,
oh man.
that is hilarious.
I
Oh
would.
man,
I always love the one they have clipped in the intro music to the Solid Verbal podcast. They got a bunch of quotes, and he's got one where he's talking about players say, "I want to be happy. If you want to be happy for a day, eat a steak."
yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty good one. The wife and the dog, man.
But he
And of
was
course his weird little feud with Ryan Day a couple of seasons ago.
very
But
strange, kind of funny actually.
yeah, very funny. But yeah, certainly a loss for the college football world.
It is because
Um,
that's a man that if you just saw that man, you would never think he
mm-mm,
was one of the most motivational dudes ever.
mm-hmm,
I mean, he has a speech impediment thing, little
yeah.
guy. You would never think that he could have 70 to 100 dudes ready to run to a wall for him.
I about to say, yeah, it looks more like a math professor than a
Yeah,
football coach, but
but man,
so it goes.
he
But
had the
that's
it
all.
factor.
Yeah, That's everything I have in my notes. Anything else in the world of sports you want to touch on real quick before we go?
Oh, no, we're to a great, one of my favorite times of the year. And honestly, as far as crowning a champion, I don't think anything's better than March Madness. I know people will say, well, you don't always get the best, but I just think just the, you know, just the one and done, the finality of it, just you have to get hot at the right time. And I think that's the beauty of it, that you don't always get your best team to win the title. But
Yeah, and it's a beautiful way. Everyone's got a shot.
yeah,
Even if realistically the
you
America
don't.
East champions, not going to win it,
But they're
they
there.
pl- they because they earned it. They played their way. They won the title, and they earned it. And that's the way it should be. And
Absolutely.
particularly in all the sports, but particularly college sports. That's
Yeah,
the way it should be.
absolutely.
And we lose sight of that from time to time. And it's awesome to see. We just got done with championship week. It's awesome to watch those smaller conference tournaments and see
They're
how
just
excited these guys get to get these bids.
they're just
To,
happy to go get
yeah,
slaughtered by Duke.
exactly, and that's we kind of talked about it a little bit last week,
Yeah,
but the media and overall everyone losing perspective, everything being
yeah,
championship or bust, and you got to remember that with so many teams and such, only one team could
yeah.
be champion every year, so you
People
got
are
to look
just
out for other
happy
positives.
to be
Yeah,
there. Like I
yeah.
watched, have a lot of time at night when I work. Man, I watched the WAC championship game, and honestly, I did not know. I had never heard of Cal Baptist.
Yeah.
First time in the tournament,
And,
and
and it's the
the
last year of the
last
whack,
season of the
right?
WAC, yeah,
Yeah,
because they're doing some weird stuff. Like a whole bunch of conferences are joining up. It's strange,
yeah,
and they're changing names, and yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
It's weird.
Like when I saw Hawaii was in a semifinal or something. I assumed it was the whack. I'm like, oh, I bet they're in the whack and all the
And
other
the big,
sports
and they're
except
in
for
the Big
football.
West.
Yeah, they're in the Big West. I'm like, oh, well, okay. Uh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's
realign.
weird how that goes. Like I don't know. Like the WAC has had so many different teams in it that are no
Oh,
longer part of the WAC.
and so far over. I mean, La Tech used to be a whack team.
And
TCU used to
TCU
be a whack
was,
team.
yeah,
Idaho back in the day was.
they've had so many different changes, and I, it's amazing they made it as long as they did. I guess.
I guess, but yeah, we talked about it again last week.
Yeah,
The loss, one of the
yeah,
biggest crimes of conference realignment is
yeah,
losing things like the Big East tournament, and
yeah,
then also these little tournaments. I think teams get jumbled around, and you get
yeah,
these weird alignments with teams that wouldn't
yeah,
normally play each other, and
exactly. But yeah, no,
yeah,
but I saw that and I was like, man, I don't even think I've heard of Cal Baptist, and
yeah,
it was their first tournament. But they in the game that they won, though the other team had a chance to tie the game up to go to regular. Dude missed a shot. Dude rebounded, missed a dunk,
mm.
and that's how they lost the game.
Oh, terrible,
I don't think I've ever seen a missed dunk be the reason you lose the game.
mm.
Would have went sent it to overtime,
tough, yeah.
but
Um,
that's
but
my
yeah, that the last thing I have then is join our college our bracket challenge group. Same as always, taking on sports. You can check out our socials for the link, or if you played with us last year, it should come up again in this year's game. If not, you can just search on ESPN. Taken, like the podcast is spelled TAKIN apostrophe on sports. Like I said, check out our socials. I'll be, sharing that link all through the week. Keep updating it. It's already out there. So join up. You can get your chance to win to win the bracket. I think I want to say Mallory won it last year.
is
I
nice.
think so. And I don't know if she's going to start up the women's bracket like she did last year, but she might, the stare down hosted bracket. But yeah, check that out there. Get you a chance to win some taking on sports swag. Um, we'll hook you up with something. And
Do you see
other
they
than
have
that,
a new? Uh, a new game on ESPN this year, which is weird. It's like an eliminator game.
I did see that. I haven't checked it out yet, though. How it works.
So basically, you can every day in the first round on Thursday, Friday, you get to pick. You can pick any team you want. The thing is, though, you can only use that team one time in the tournament. So you want to be smart with who you pick, because obviously you don't want to use Arizona,
Right.
in the round of 64. So it's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll check that out. But anyway, like I said, join our bracket challenge group.
Absolutely.
See if you can pick a better bracket than us.
Shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, but say it's usually not. My brackets have not been too great. Although I think I did win some other podcast bracket a couple years ago, but it was by like process of elimination because everybody missed. And
Like,
it might have been that year Alabama was the one overall seed though, and so like nobody. And I think I had UConn in the title game or something, and that's what won it for me.
Because I know last year bracket, I started off terribly. I like all the upsets I thought didn't happen. Of course, it went the other. I
Yeah.
picked all around 12-5. But then I came along at the end because my national championship game was Florida and Houston, which helped out a lot because everybody had Duke.
I think I did that too. I think I got something similar.
So that helped me out a lot, and at least won me at my job back then with that bracket. But I would have smashed everybody, but I went with the homer stuff. Like I didn't have, uh, I didn't let Auburn into the into the Final Four, and of course I had Duke losing to
Yeah.
us. So the homer stuff, I really would have took it to a different level.
Yeah.
But but yeah, the bracket though, it's always, you know, the biggest thing is you don't want to lose a Sweet 16 team in day 1 or 2.
Yeah, if you can make it out of your, it's not so much about the upsets. Like obviously, if you predict like a George Mason run, that's great. But really, if you can make it out of the first weekend with, I always say like at least 14 of your
Yeah.
Sweet 16 teams, and
You're
you're in
doing
really,
a hell of a
and you
job
really, but the key is you do not want to lose an Elite Eight team the first weekend.
because your points. Yeah,
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 if you can get out of that first week with all of your Elite Eight intact, then you're doing
yeah,
pretty good.
absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah. So again, I think that wraps it up for us, folks. Write your hey, if you're an Alabama fan, write your congressman and about weed laws. But other than that, Greg, I actually recorded our little outro spiel, so I don't have to struggle and remember
Oh,
through
wow.
it every week. So now we just got to figure out what to do with this part. So I guess, as usual, I'll say keep it done up real good yourselves out there, folks. And Greg, buddy, I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.